All right, what's going on? This is Terminator Juice, and this is going to be a gaming juice opinions. And looks a little dark. Oh, the camera looks a little blurry right now, and I don't like the color from my background making my face look red. Should have tested this out beforehand, but no one's in. Oh, I see one person. Let me switch the colors up real quick. Let's try blue. I almost just need a black screen. Browse photos. Sorry for anybody. It's off to a slow start, but I noticed like the background image was just making my face look red, which I wasn't feeling. But I think it's all right with the slight blue tint. But yeah, what's up? Welcome to Juice Opinions, a real one. It's been a while, but didn't want to wait for Monday. I didn't want to have to negotiate people's feelings on the podcast. I just want to get my take on the PS5 Pro. I'm not going to talk about anything else. And yeah, you saw the title. May or may not be clickbait. You'll have to keep watching to find out. So I'm gonna set this up by saying I'm a happy PS5 owner since I don't know, it was the end of March or early April of 2021. Thanks to Robert of Gaming With Me for helping me get one when they were nearly impossible. His New Jersey internet and closeness to the Walmart servers or something. He was 3 for 3 on getting PS5s. So I got that. And first thing I did was, play PS4 games enhanced, like Days Gone. I don't know the actual order of everything. I remember Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Returnal. I think Returnal was my first, or Resident Evil 7 or 8, I think, was my first PS5 game, and then Returnal. And, I mean, I've been saying this, I've been arguing this point for a long time. I don't care that there's cross-gen games. I don't care that the game I'm playing is on PS4 and Xbox One. I'm playing a brand new game on my PS5, and it looks great. It runs great, and it doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, it would be better if the PS5 had just exclusive after exclusive, but at the end of the day, like, exclusives are important, for having justification when your competitor Xbox gets a lot of the same games. You want to have your own games, but exclusive to the PS5 versus being PS4 and PS5 for like Horizon and God of War and any other game, it just never mattered to me. As long as I was getting new games to play and playing them, in the best version of the game, whether it's 60 FPS that isn't available on PS4, or just in better visuals, quicker loading, everything that comes with the PS5, the controller. I love the system. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a little bit loud with the coil whine. It definitely gets warm. My living room heats up, but I've been very happy with the PS5. I mean, I'm not mad at somebody for saying they're happy sticking with their PS4 at this point. But for me to not have played Returnal by just on its own, like just that game would have been a huge loss for me. It was my game of the year. At this point, it's the best first party or Sony IP game that I've ever played. I'm playing Astrobot. I'm only a couple hours in, but loving that. That's exclusive. We're fine. 4 years in, yes, I agree. You should have more exclusives. You should have more games. Sony's definitely dropped the ball on the amount of games, but people act like PS5 hasn't had any games this year, and it has. I didn't play Helldivers, but I put like 70, 80 hours into Stellar Blade. I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I haven't even started yet. And also, what else? Kind of forgotten game, the Ronin game. I don't even honestly don't even remember the title. You got to have a PS5 to play those games. And I don't know about the Ronin, Rise of Ronin. I don't think that was amazing, but Stellar Blade's very, I'd say, a really good game. Final Fantasy Rebirth, for everything I heard, is a really good game. Helldivers 2 was, really, people were really enjoying it till the whole PSN debacle on PC. And now Astrobot. I mean, it's a pretty solid year. Plus, any third-party games, the Horizon Lego game. I don't know if I'm going to pick that up, but that's coming on Switch as well, and I'm guessing PC. Again, I don't care if it's going on other platforms as long as I've had new games to play, and I don't have to worry about it not coming to the PS5 or coming to the system I own. I'm happy. So overall, really enjoyed the PS5. I would say the one game that has made me kind of, I won't say excited or looking. I've been eyeing the possibility of a PS5 Pro as a potential purchase. Like as much as I got 200 hours in Elden Ring, it's 100% playable, but it spends a lot of time below 60, and when you actually get to the 60 FPS moments, it's like, wow, this is so much smoother. This feels so much better. I was like, a PS4 Pro for me was just like just playing Elden Ring at a lock 60. Was going to be almost enticing enough. So I was a potential consumer or potential buyer of the PS5 Pro based on the rumors. I was an interested party. Terrell, I know he was waiting. He could have got the PS5 Slim Spider-Man 2 bundle for $450. It was on sale for like 2 months. I mean, if you really break it down, if you already were going to buy Spider-Man, you take that $70 off that $450. It was a PS5 Slim for $380. And then Spider-Man if you're already going to buy it anyway. It's digital, so that's less appealing for me, but I think that would have been the better choice, obviously, looking at it now. But anyway, got enough people in here. I'll get to the actual my actual thoughts and stuff. But again, I really enjoy the PS5. I don't give a shit that Horizon's on the PS4. I don't care. It was a great game. I got 90, maybe 100 hours now with the DLC. Thoroughly enjoyed the game. It doesn't make any difference to me that it was also on PS4. It makes literally no difference. God of War Ragnarok, love that game. Makes no difference that it was on PS4. I get it. It's time to move on at year 4. But we did. Year 4 is all PS5 exclusive. Or there's no cross-gen game this year. Concord was a huge failure, but that was PS5 only. The other games I listed, PS5 only. Cross-gen is pretty much over at this point. Yeah, it took a while. Sony hasn't had any major games between Spider-Man and, Hellblade, or Helldivers was theirs, so that was their IP. They published it, they funded it. But it was a successful game. But I can say that. Say I enjoy the PS5, say that there's been some good games, and also say, yeah, there hasn't been enough games. Like, it just hasn't. And we say it on the Juiceless podcast. You need more smaller games. They don't all have to be huge. More Astrobots, type games. It'd be perfectly fine. Instead, Sony went to the games as a service thing a few years ago. That was their push, and it's already, they had one hit and the biggest failure of all time. So who knows what they're going to do moving forward. I think next year, we're going to get Wolverine, which I don't care because Insomniac's probably my least favorite developer. I think they're the most overrated developer because their games always seem to review really well. People, Game of the Year contenders, and I'm just like, I just don't see it. But anyway, Wolverine next year for sure. That's, I say for sure, but who knows? If next year is another one game year from Sony, then they're definitely going down the wrong path. But what's up to the people watching? Say something in the chat. Let me know who's here. Make sure I got the right chat open. I should be should have it. I know every once in a while I'll have like an old chat, so I'll start. But yeah, people here for the PS5 Pro. So, like I said, I was a potential buyer. I was an interested party. Um, I know Terrell was. I think he was the only him and I were the only ones even remotely intrigued or interested in the PS5 Pro. So when they showed it, what's up, Matthew? So I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Um, First off, I don't understand this current society we live in where people can't have difference of opinions and be civil and just agree to disagree. Like I don't understand that. With the politics, with like there's people afraid to say who they're voting for because of the backlash if they vote for Trump. It's only one side. People openly can attack people who say they're voting for Trump. I'm not voting at this point. I don't like either candidate personally. But just the point is, it should be okay for somebody to say, yeah, I'm voting for Trump. I'm sorry. Or I'm voting for Harris. There shouldn't be any animosity. There shouldn't be any anger. Somebody, they can vote for whoever the F they want to vote for. That's our freedom in this country. That's our right. And there shouldn't be any kind of attack just based on who you vote for. Like, it's so stupid. And the same comes for gaming. If you like something, you don't like something. Shows. If you don't like something, you're called, somebody lumps you in with a group of whatever you want to call it. I'm not gonna get into all that, but so I think we just need to get back. I don't even know if get back's the right term. Just get to a point where people can just have different opinions that don't agree with, and you can be okay with that. You can be friends with. It's not like we're talking about, murder or torturing animals or something horrendous, stuff like that. We're talking about video games. We're talking about entertainment. And as far as the voting, yeah, that's a little more important. But if you don't like a movie or show, you shouldn't get, the other person shouldn't get upset. So anyway, with that in mind, I'm gonna give my first hot take of the night. So the PS5 Pro does exactly what I think it should, as far as performance, as far as what it does to the performance of PS5 games. I think they absolutely nailed it. It does exactly what it should do. And here's why. A, if you make it too powerful, then you're making it tougher on developers for like, oh yeah, this is really just like almost a next gen. Now we put features in the PS5 Pro version that aren't going to be in the PS5 base version, like the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro did, where it's like, if you want 60 FPS, you got to get the PS5 or PS4 Pro. If you want 60 FPS and any decent visuals, you got to get the Xbox One X to play. What's up, J-Biggs? So I think just making it fairly simple, you get the fidelity like visuals at 60 FPS, and if worst case scenario, you're a locked 60 with the locked target resolution that the developer had in the performance mode, without the bells and whistles. That's all it needed to be. That's all I wanted it to be. I just want to play Elden Ring at 60 FPS locked, and have the resolution be at the peak, whatever the top resolution is, whether it's 1800p, 1440, I don't know what it is. Just stay at that and stay at 60 locked. That's all I wanted it to be. Like, I don't know what people, I can say it doesn't need to exist. I agree with that. It doesn't need to exist. But once I knew it did exist, this is exactly what it needed to do, in my opinion. If you do any more, like I said, then now you're getting into a gray area. Now developers are like, wow, there's so much extra power. Now our game's like, it's like so much better on the Pro that it's like, almost feel like the people with the regular PS5 are getting like screwed. They're getting an inferior version, like a significantly inferior version. I don't think that would have been good. Also, it couldn't have done, if it did any less, then it wouldn't even be worth doing. So for me, just give me the fidelity like visuals on most games and give me 60 FPS. If a developer wants to say, we're going to take the performance mode and we're just going to put full ray tracing on it, or we're going to have it run at native 4K, whatever, just as long as you're not taking my 60 FPS away, that's all I want it to be. I don't know if people actually think it needed to do more, but that's what it needed to do, in my opinion. I think that's absolutely perfect. That's what I wanted. That's what I need. And then also, which is kind of funny, it takes PS4 games and uses the what do you call it, the PSSR resolution thing, and it can make the PS4 games look cleaner. And then it's like, well, you just kind of defeated your own defeated yourselves. Why buy the Last of Us 2 PS5 version if you just said the PS4 version of games are going to look way sharper? Like, it seems kind of like, well, we didn't need the PS5 version then. So in that regard, I think it was kind of it's kind of dumb that they're releasing a port of the Last of Us Part 2 when this is going to give you already got the 60 FPS, going to give you cleaner visuals with the upscaling. Really you don't need to buy it. Like, you don't need to anyway, but there's no reason to even consider the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 2. So I think they nailed that. That's honestly the only thing I think I think that's the only thing they did right. The design, I think the design looks good. I guess it's as tall as the original PS5, but it's same width or whatever as the Slim. And the bottom portion below where the disc drive, that's all the same height. So yeah, that's what they did right, and that's it. One Start with the things they did wrong. The presentation was terrible. Mark Cerny was terrible. Yeah, they're gonna remaster The Last of Us. They already remastered The Last of Us. So, the presentation, the games they chose. Digital Foundry made a good point though. There's no good way to show the difference through a YouTube video, like, and especially doing it in 2-second clips, and then you zoom kind of like, you zoom in, then you zoom out, then you kind of crop it so it's like hard to even see, and then it's like, oh, it's just a little bit sharper in the background. That it's gonna be more than that, trust me. Going from like playing Horizon Forbidden West, going from fidelity mode to frame rate to the performance mode, yeah, it's a downgrade in some of the visuals, but the 60 FPS is so like transformative for that game, and it just looks so good. And I mean, that's one of the games that's getting its additional features patched in. But so yeah, I think it does exactly what it needs to do performance wise. I'm very like that. I was like, all right, I'm in. And then we get to the obvious thing. It's $250 of a additional charge to get that extra performance in fidelity mode, to get that fidelity mode like visuals in the performance 60 FPS mode. $250 more because you can't compare this to the PS5 Slim disc. You have to compare it to the digital. The digital's $450, the Pro is $700. And I'm talking US only. I'll get to the EU stuff later. So it's $250 difference between the PS5 digital and the PS5 Pro. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then the thing is, they didn't even talk about in the presentation. It's got 2 terabytes of storage. So that's a significant, probably 50, 60, 70, I'm not sure. $50 to $70 probably increase to the price right there. If it was Xbox, it'd be $100. I mean, they're charging $599 for the Series X with 2 terabytes. And it's like, it didn't need to be 2 terabytes. For me personally, with the expandable storage slot, M.2s are super cheap. A lot of people have them. If you're a PS5 owner, you probably already have one. There's no reason to make it 2 terabytes to increase the price. Like, to me, that's a mistake. But not even telling people in the presentation. Didn't tell you it was 2 terabytes. Didn't tell you like the size comparison. Is this thing quieter? Does it run cooler? Like, give us some more details. For people that already have a PS5, give us some details. They didn't do that. The stand not coming in. I'm sorry, people. I forgot to grab my box. Nintendo guys, here's where I'm going to get some pushback. Nintendo released multiple 3DSs without a freaking AC adapter. Like, I don't want to hear anything about Sony not putting a stand in this box. I mean, yeah, it's probably a cheaper thing to add, but an AC adapter you absolutely have to have to be able to play your 3DS. Nintendo stopped doing that with the new 3DS, and they never put it back in there. Like, get the hell out of here. So the stand doesn't mean nothing to me. That's not, you bring that up. That's like, that's so stupid. Like, to me, that's so pointless. Yeah, you could argue Sony could just throw it in there, but also I'd be like, that's not hurting it's the value. That's not going to make the $700 any better if the stand's in there. What I think personally is the disk drive for sure should have been there. That's absolutely stupid. They didn't even address it in the Mark Cerny thing. To not have a disk drive for your Pro console, who's most likely to be buying the Pro? Somebody who doesn't have a PS5 or somebody who has a PS5 and wants cares about that extra performance. Yeah, there's a lot of digital only gamers out there these days, but the PS5's one of its best selling points for me still to this day is its backwards compatibility. I can put in a PS4 disc. I don't even have to think about it. It's nothing changes. It just plays. It just works. Works with the controller. Works with my friends. Look, my account. There's nothing. There's literally, like, no. There's no difference when you play PS4 to PS5. So to remove one of the best features, yeah, I mean people have digital libraries on PS4, but to not be able to just buy the system and put your PS4 games in that get a boost. Like, that's so stupid. And then it's $80, and I know optical drives they're not mass produced anymore, so the prices have gone up. If you look at a USB external Ultra HD drive on Amazon, they're like $100 to $150. So $80 isn't the worst price for it. It's just it needed to be in the box, no question about it. So, what do I think the price should be? In a perfect world where I'm the CEO, you keep it 1 terabyte, you have a disk drive, and you sell it for $599.99 in the US. Like, that's it. End of story. $100 more than the PS5 disc version, $100 extra to get that extra performance. I don't think there's one person who's gonna complain about it. There's gonna be people, ain't gonna name any names, who aren't interested in the PS5 anyway, would still be like, yeah, that's stupid. What's the point? Why do you have a Pro? Why do we have mid-gen? Why do you have a revision thing? Like, there's always going to be that person. But $599, 1 terabyte with a disk drive. If you're interested, you buy it. If you're not, you keep your PS5. You're not going to feel like you're missing out. And I think that would have been great. I think that would have been, pretty much for me. I'd be pre-ordering it whenever pre-orders go live. I would have pre-ordered it, and once I got it, I'd transfer over my stuff, transfer my internal M.2, and then put my PS5 up for hopefully get $300 for it. So it would be, a $330 upgrade for me. And for Terrell, he probably would have just said, you know what, I'll get the Pro. They didn't do that, obviously. And that's just without knowing the build cost or anything like that, that's what I think would have been good. Now, if you're going to keep the 2 terabytes, then I think $649 is your price point with the disk drive. Again, I don't know what the build costs are. I know a terabyte of storage like an M.2 is not that expensive, but I'm not sure about the little modules and stuff. I think they did the 2 terabyte probably to try to sweeten the deal, even though they didn't announce it during the presentation. They made let me read some comments. They made the PS have optional disk drive like the Slim. Yeah, I mean, I never had a problem with the digital, the slim digital having being able to have the disk drive. I thought that was a cool way to do it. That way, they're only making one SKU. They just don't put the disk drive on one, put it in a box. They put the disk drive on the other. So it's like the base PS5 stays the same. I get that from a manufacturing standpoint. Thought that made sense. I never wanted a PS5 or Pro, but would buy the version with no disc since I don't buy physical. You never wanted a PS5 or a Pro. So you would, it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't have a disc drive. That's fine. I'm not, like, again, I wouldn't be mad at somebody who's like, I don't need the disc drive. If the disc drive meant 750, I'd rather it be 700 without a disc drive. Like, I wouldn't, if somebody had that take, that's fine. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like if they couldn't hit the right price, they shouldn't have done it. That's pretty much it. If you couldn't hit $600 or $650 max with a disk drive, then you shouldn't have done it. If the writing was on the wall, if they're building this thing and said, you know what, to get 60 with Fidelity grit, this is what we got to do, and this is what it costs. It's gonna be $700 US, or let's say their bill cost is $650 or $630, whatever. And then don't do it. That's how I feel. Also, I do want to point out, if somebody thinks that $700 for what it does, maybe there's more info comes out. Digital Foundry said that they heard from some developers that it's a lot more than what that presentation suggested. If somebody's like, yeah, $700, I'm all in. I think it's great. I think it's fine, especially PC guys. $700 gets you a mid-tiered GPU, really. So, I wouldn't be mad at somebody for saying, yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm going to get one. But luckily, and this is where my title comes into play, it's a huge win. The huge win is the community. Every video I've seen for PS5 Pro reveal reaction, everybody's been just absolutely slamming Sony. I haven't seen one, even Mystic, who's like, I mean, he's a shill for sure. I'm guessing he gets a lot of benefits for being such a shill for Sony as far as like games and stuff. I don't know. I'm just guessing. He even was like, whoa, ouch. Yeah, that price is going to be hard to sell. He was, fine with it, but he thinks like the hardcore Sony guys are going to be fine. I think the user base for a $700 PS5 Pro is very small. Worldwide, I'd like to think it wouldn't even do 2 million. I'm not sure, but so here's the huge win. Like I said, whether it's OJ, RGT, whoever, just absolutely roasting Sony for this. The no disc drive and the $700. It's $780 in the U.S. before tax with the disc drive. Let me see what that costs for me. 6% sales tax in Michigan. So we got $699.99 plus $79.99 equals $826.78. $826.78. Like I said, you couldn't hit a certain price point, you shouldn't have done it. So I think it's absolutely ridiculous. People are just roasting it. Look at the reveal trailer. Let me check it now. I don't have one of those extensions where you can see the dislikes, but somebody shared it earlier, and it was huge. The dislike to like ratio was massive. So go watch. If you haven't, go give it a downvote. Go to the official PlayStation and make sure you vote it down. Let's see here. So it's got 1.8 million views. I'm gonna check. Here's what, again, sorry, I'm getting distracted. The huge win. I scrolled through 50 comments and they're all just roasting Sony. Their Twitter or X account, the official posting. I scrolled maybe even more, at least 40 to 50 for sure. They're all I didn't see one person defend it, So this person saying 55,000 likes, 196,000 dislikes. Um, People are just roasting this thing. Play has no limits. I'm pretty sure $900 is a pretty big limit for most people, Sony. I guess I could share the screen so you don't think I'm just making these up. Let's see, second screen. All right, PS4, PS6 is sold without a controller, and the PS5 is sold in bundles so you can assemble it yourself. Nice. Not sure what Sony is smoking, having the top tier console not have a disc drive. Insane. $700 console, $30 stand. Like, again, the stand, you don't need the stand, it stands up by itself. $80 disc drive. PS3 era expensive all over again. Don't buy it for the price. People, please, we have to boycott Sony, otherwise this will happen more often. Again, this is a huge win. Gamers are not putting up with this shit. I can't believe Sony's charging $700 for a console without a disc drive. What are they thinking? No disc drive, $700 is a crime. This is far way beyond ridiculous. What's next? Power cord, HDMI, and controller sold separately. I mean, yeah. PS5 Pro trailer is the best advertisement for PC gaming. I disagree with that because people acting like you can have a decent PC for I spent $500 for a 2 or 3 year old CPU and some RAM. So get out of here with that. If you're gonna game on, if you're saying that, you haven't looked at prices of building a PC lately, because you're looking $1,600 bare minimum for a decent gaming PC. Sony is making some very questionable decisions this gen. €800 without Blu-ray and stand. With Blu-ray and a stand, it's $950. This is delirium. I'm not paying $700. PlayStation 6 gonna be like $2,000. Your move, Microsoft. Sony just presented you biggest opportunity since 2006. Like, they're all negative. I'm like I was telling the guys, I'm not mad. I can't be mad about this because I'm so proud of the gaming community. That's not how I phrased it, but I haven't seen one person, not one person, hyping this up. PlayStation 5 Pro controversy gets worse. Let's look up PlayStation PS5 Pro reaction or something. I don't really want a reaction video, but let's not do reaction. Let's see. Let me check the comments. I had fun roasting PS5 Pro. I expect your stream, so I didn't do it here. I had fun roasting PS5. Wait, I don't know what you mean. I mean, if you never run a PS5, that's one thing. I mean, I know people hate this argument. If you already just didn't like the PS5, then I honestly don't care about your take on the PS5 Pro. Like, I mean, it's hard to say, you know. That's a slippery slope, I guess. But I mean, you could look at it and say, yeah, that's overpriced. But if you already hated the PS5, then honestly, I mean, I guess I probably value someone's take a little less if they already were just like against PS5 in general. PS5 Pro is worse than I thought. Biggest changes, racks. Let's see. Juice opinions. Look at that. PS5 Pro is a joke. 68,000 views. Gamers hate the PS5 Pro. 24,000 views. PS5 Pro compared to PC hardware. That's interesting. Lack of competition made it easier for Sony. I don't know what that means. That's the other thing. I mean, Xbox is not competition, and that's the negative side of competition. $700 disaster. It was a disaster. No to the PS5 Pro. Keeps getting worse. Like, I can't be mad because I'm so proud of people, and I think this thing's gonna fail. I do. I think it's gonna be sitting on store shelves after the first couple weeks, like the PS3 was. It's a lot, but the specs versus costs versus compared to PC parts is actually really good. I mean, yeah, the PC guys, what you get for $700 you can't even buy a CPU and a GPU for that price, let alone the motherboard, the RAM, your power supply, your fans. Just fans on a modern PC, you're gonna have $100 to $200 just in fans building a PC. Unless you already have a case and fans and you're just gonna buy a GPU. Um, let's see. That have 4060s granted their mobile edition. I don't know what that means, but Digital Foundry said it's equivalent to a 6800 Radeon, which is like a $400 graphics card, just for the card. I mean, yeah, PCs do more, but that's the one argument I'll listen to, because I was looking to buy a 4070, like upgrade my graphics card. That's going to get me about double performance plus some ray tracing. It's 550 to 650 just for the graphics card. I'm like, I'm not buying I'm going to stick with my Vega 64. I'm not buying a new graphics card. I don't game enough on my PC to spend $550 to $600. I'm sorry. So in that regard, if you just look at the price of a GPU for what you get with any console, right, really, like the Xbox Series X, PS5, base PS5, I mean, it's a steal compared to trying to build a PC that does that. Unless you buy used parts, get lucky with some like amazing deal, open box deal, return items from Amazon, you ain't building a freaking PC under $1,000 that's going to be anywhere near PS5 or Series X. I don't need the most powerful system. I care about playing the games and having fun. If you're going to, I mean, it's not just about needing the most powerful. And if you're talking about like the consoles, again, like not again, but the PS5 Pro was never going to be a mass market. This is going to replace the PS5. It never was going to be that. Here's another argument I'll listen to. It was never supposed to be a replacement for the PS5 like the Nintendo Switch OLED ended up being for the Switch. It was never supposed to be that. Apparently the PS4 Pro sold 1 to every 5 PS4 Slims, and apparently that was good enough for Sony. That's fine. That's fine. It was never supposed to be that. There's the other thing I like about the Pro, like I said earlier, is what it does. It's not making the PS5 just like obsolete, and nor should it. You're getting great performance, great visuals on the PS5. The first two games I can think of that the 60 FPS mode is a bit questionable is Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, and Black Myth Wukong. Not only don't they run at a lock 60, but they have to do some pretty big graphical sacrifices and some cheating with frame generation and stuff to hit it. But forget where I was at before I kind of got sidetracked there. But oh yeah, everybody's roasting it. Critical Drinker, 1 million plus subscribers. He tweeted on the official post from Sony how stupid it is. Everybody's saying it's stupid. If Sony doesn't listen to people and they just put this thing out at $700, it's all their fault when they're just sitting on store shelves. Like if all this means nothing to them, the old Sony, they've proven they listen to feedback before, like they say something and it's like nope, and then they turn around and they undo their decision. They did it with like closing down the stores. I forget all the things that The Last of Us Remastered. They were going to release that at $60, and people were like, no, I ain't rebuying this game for $60 again. And they launched it at $50, and then it was at like a few months later they dropped it to $40, and it stayed there for a long time till it hit $20. So they have in the past listened to fans, listened to the outcry, and course corrected. Now you wish a companies wouldn't need to course correct and they just make the right decisions to begin with. But just to reiterate, in case somebody new joined, the big win or the huge win is the reaction from gamers and how no one's standing for this. I haven't seen a single person praising it or trying to justify it. Now, I haven't seen everybody, obviously, but I read, at this point, probably 100 comments total, replies between the YouTube and the Twitter. Everybody's roasting them. So big props to all the gamers out there, all the content creators making their videos, saying it's a disaster. We just saw just a handful there. If Sony doesn't hear this and they put it out anyway at $700, then you know that this Sony just doesn't care, and they're just maybe the bill cost is $680. I don't know, but don't put the system out then if you can't do it for a decent price. This is console gaming. This isn't PCs. This is console gaming, and like I said, I'm not mad because of the reaction. Now, if everybody was praising this, like when the Switch was getting all the Wii U ports at $60 and everybody's just fine with it, that made me mad. I'm like, people, if you just keep accepting this, they're going to keep doing it the whole generation. And guess what? Minus Metroid Prime, they've done it like I feel like 20 times now where they've released an old game, ported it, remastered it, whatever, $60, and we've just been taking it. And it's the new standard, other than Metroid Prime, which I don't know why they chose that one. That one's the most deserving of the $60. The PS5 Pro is about a 3700X CPU and a 6800 GPU. OEM, no box, around 400, 500, and you still have to pick out the other parts. Exactly. CPU and GPU is $500. Then a case, that's 60, 80, 100. You got about, if you don't buy cheap Amazon Chinese fans. Buy 4-pin fans. Don't buy, if you're going to do lighting. Between $60 to $100 in fans, almost guaranteed. You got to buy a cooler. Again, $60, $80, $100, depending on what you get. Then you got to buy a power supply. I think those are around $60 to $80. What else do you need? You got to buy storage. So, I mean, if you're building one from scratch. So you got a M.2 for Windows if you're going to do like a split where you have one with just Windows. Either way, you could buy a 2 terabyte for $150. That could be everything you need. Yeah, it's expensive. So the whole PC is just as good. It's stupid. I never understood that argument. It's never been valid. Unless you just, like, if you live and die on your PC, you do everything on your PC, it's in wherever your gaming is, it can be that. Yeah, if my PC was in the room I did all my gaming on with my nice OLED TV, I'd probably be a PC gamer. But there's problems with PC gaming. You get bad ports, you get stuttering, even with the best GPU. There's issues with PC for sure. But anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, huge win for the gamers speaking their mind. Sony better listen. Like I'd be shocked if they don't do something. Here's my guess, and this could be completely wrong. I guarantee you they're having meetings about this. I guarantee it. Now, whether they come to any good to their senses, I have a feeling they're going to put out a promotion. If you buy the PS5 Pro before the end of the year, by December 31st, the disk drive will be included. That's just a theory I have, or just a gut feeling. If they don't do that, maybe they'll just decide the price is wrong, like Nintendo did with the 3DS. Sorry, yeah, we overpriced this thing. Is $650 acceptable? No, because the disk drive's $80. $620 without the disk drive, $700 with the disk drive. It's on the fence for me. I think $650's better, but that actually didn't even know it had 2 terabytes. I was thinking $650, but now that it's 2 terabytes, I could see with the disk drive in the US, mind you, $700 with the disk drive. I can say that's all right. It's not great, but it's not like, I mean, it's only $80 difference, but it's starting to feel like, okay, it's all right. It's not for me. It's too expensive for me. I'll wait till it drops in price, but it's not anything I think to make multiple videos about at that point. So, I mean, Sony, just bite the bullet. I still think it's a little expensive, but if they did that, I think it would help a little bit. I don't think it would completely solve it, but again, I'm not interested at $700. If it drops down, I mean, it's coming out in November, so it's not like there's going to be like a big Black Friday sale this year, but If the thing drops to 600 with no disk drive, maybe. Maybe if the disk drive goes on sale, that's what I might be looking out for. If I see the disk drive go down to like $50, I might just pick one up someday just to have in case. Um, if I didn't already have a PS5, I'd probably get one. But with Switch 2 like around the corner, that's where my money is going to go. If you don't like, that's the thing. If you don't have a PS5, it's $280 more for the disc version. That's a Xbox Series S difference. That's just too much. It's too much of a difference. Just I just don't. There's no other way to say it. It's just too much. I gotta go feed my cat, so give me 1 minute. They're just staring at me, so I'll be right back. And we're back. And I don't know why I had these earbuds in because I don't need to hear myself. Um, so let me just. I'm gonna do a couple things here. I was already kind of saying some of the points I agree with, or some of the arguments I'd listen to. Let's just break this down, just logically, rationally, no emotions here. So the PS5, because I was just talking about like what the prices. By the way, what do you guys, those watching, what do you think would be like a good price with a disk drive where you're like, all right, that's something to consider. You know, if I was looking at a PS5, I would have to decide like, what do you think is a good price? So the base PS5 we know in the US is 500. The whole European stuff, the value of the US dollar compared to the euros and pounds, I don't understand how they're just charging the same like number, even though it's like way more. I don't know. They've been doing that for a while. I don't know if Nintendo's been doing that. I know some companies have been doing that. That's bullshit. I don't understand that. But if I'm just for the U.S., you look at PS5 disc versions, $4.99. Um, for a couple months, I don't remember the exact timing, but it felt like it was this year. For a couple months, you could get the Spider-Man 2 bundle for the PS5 Slim for 450. And I tried to tell Terrell, I tried to talk him into it. He said he was waiting for the Pro. That was a steal. It was a digital version, so it's not like you could sell it. I don't know if it was a game code or if it was installed. So for me, it wouldn't have been appealing because I don't care about Spider-Man 2. But for Terrell, somebody that was already going to buy that game, it's a great deal. But base PS5, the regular price, $499. The Series X, $499. They have a 2 terabyte version that's $599, which is, to me, that's ridiculous. Because people won't even. The Series X was $350 for 2 months at Walmart and still didn't sell that great. So $600 for a Series X is stupid, but $500 for the disc, $450 for the digital. With the Slim, and then $80 for the disc drive. So obviously the disc version is the way to go if you wanted that. So it could have been $550. There's no scenario, even without the disc drive. There's no scenario where the Pro could have been $550. There was no situation where that was going to be ever even a thing. So $600, obviously $100 difference, and you're like, all right. So it's basically just a GPU. Like the CPU is identical. you get a better CPU, but like Digital Foundry says, it's a very common AMD GPU chipset. Like I said, it's like the 6800. Um, the redesign, obviously, it's a new SKU, so it's new manufacturing because it's a taller version of the Slim, and some other design featured changes. Controller's identical, CPU's identical. They put an extra terabyte of storage, so the 1 terabyte Slim becomes 2 terabytes with the Pro. Like I said earlier, that's at least $50, I would say. Maybe on mass produced, maybe get it cheaper, but let's just say that's $50 right there. So just adding the 2 terabytes is probably 50, but like I said, Xbox is charging 100. Yeah, the console has a different finish on it. It's a limited edition, but you're just getting a terabyte extra for $100. So $50 for an extra terabyte in past, that would be $100 extra. So it's hard to say even $600 for the Pro really at this point with the 2 terabytes. That's why I said if they kept it 1 terabyte, that would have kept the cost down. I think people would have been fine with that. I don't think it needed to, but since it has it, let's be real, that's $50. So $550 just for a 2 terabyte PS5. Now you have a new GPU with a new the whole case, the whole thing's different. I'm guessing the heat sink and all that's different on the Pro versus the Slim. So just the extra manufacturing costs. It realistically $600 for a disc version, I don't think's even realistic to even think that could have been achieved. So just being realistic, logically looking at this, again, I don't think it should have 2 terabytes. I think they should have stuck at 1, but since it does, $600, there's no way you're getting a disk drive with 2 terabytes with the Pro, the extra chip for six. I think $650 is the cheapest it could actually be. So that's with the disc. For me, that's with the disc drive. $650. There's no way it could be cheaper. There's no way to expect it to be cheaper for what it does. Cat's getting into something. So I think $650 is honestly the cheapest I think I would even expect. I think it's pretty unrealistic to think cheaper. And 700 with the disc drive, like I said, to me that's like on the fence. Maybe split the difference, 680. Just trying to think of what it could really be, and also what would start to be acceptable. 680 with the disc drive would be $100 cheaper than what they're trying to get. So yeah, I just don't see, if it's going to exist and it's going to have 2 terabytes, 650 is the absolute lowest it could be. Because even without the disk drive, I can't see 600. So that's $50 for the, maybe we'll say 40 for the extra terabyte and 60 for the GPU difference, and the different heat sink, the different manufacturing costs. But then you got $100 difference between the PS5 and the Pro, but it doesn't have a disk drive. People probably still complain. If they didn't, if that was the price, they'd probably still complain. Now, if they retracted it $100, maybe people would be okay with it. So, I don't know. For me, it's nothing to get mad about. I think it's dumb. I think if you couldn't hit the price, don't release it. That's my stance. I'm not mad that it existed. Like I said, I was in the market for it. I would have, at $650 with the disc drive, I'd more than likely be pre-ordering it. That's just how I feel. If you don't think it's worth it, that's fine. I mean, I don't care. I don't take this stuff personally. I'm not emotionally attached to any of this. I'm not a diehard Sony fan from back in the day. Wasn't until the PS4 Slim that I even realized, like, yeah, actually this is a good system. There's some good games on here, and so I don't really have like long legacy feelings towards PlayStation. I don't want them to go out of business. I don't like that they're making dumb decisions. I do love that Concord failed because it's everything wrong Every wrong decision that could have been made pretty much was made. Stale, tired genre. 40. That's free to play. They charge $40. Boring characters, boring levels. Um, Guardians of the Galaxy dollar store writing, like poor man's Guardians of the Galaxy, I guess you could say. I'm glad that game failed. I hope they learned the lesson. It sucks. They lost a lot of money. People are going to lose their jobs. If this PS4 Pro or PS5 Pro fails, and they're sitting on store shelves, I'm not gonna be happy about that as far as like the like stability of Sony and the PlayStation, because I do want the PlayStation to continue. I think it's good competition for Nintendo. You can't just have Nintendo, because I'm sorry guys, if without competition, Nintendo's gonna be just as bad. They're gonna be price gouging. They already price gouge in my opinion. Um, so you got to have competition. I wish Xbox was doing better to provide more competition. I'm not quite sure what they could do to salvage Xbox at this point. They're just Microsoft. It's a software company. They're just going to be a third-party software publisher. That's what I think. Sucks because that's going to lead to more stuff like this. Now, if you want to be doom and gloom, you could say, well, just the fact they're trying this tells you that the PS6 is going to be bullshit. I'm very confident that this thing's going to fail. I'm very confident that enough people are talking about it, pointing out the problems, complaining about it, that Sony's going to listen and they're going to have to do something. I could be wrong. I could be naive. They put this thing out. If it sells 1 million and they're happy with that and that's all it ever does, yeah, it wasn't worth doing. And however much money they lost, they could put that money towards another Astrobot type game. Yeah, of course. But, and maybe this will be the end of the Pro thing. Maybe it worked once, and this failure, they're not going to try it again. I was never against it. I thought the PS4 Pro was amazing. It was a significant improvement over the PS4. The One X was a huge improvement over the Xbox One. The Xbox One S, honestly, that almost felt like a generation behind the PlayStation 4 at times, playing some of those games. I could probably still come on Saturday. I just, hate to repeat myself. Xbox is a whole nother thing, but it's just like I'm feeling good because I think enough people are speaking about this. There's no split. Gamers are united. The PS5 Pro has been a disaster. It's way too expensive. It should come with a disk drive. I don't care about the stand personally. I can make a stand for free if I needed one. Unless you're worried about cats or dogs knocking over, it doesn't need a stand. At least the one I have doesn't. I have mine laying down anyway. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not mad at it's the existence of a Pro, but I also wouldn't be mad if they didn't do a Pro. Like, I was fine with the PS5. I think Nintendo, the Switch should have had a Pro. I think they should have did a Pro in 2019, 2018 possibly. Get it out there early. Get that OLED type, get an OLED screen that with some better performance out early. And majority of the people would have that, and then it's fine. Like if you want a Pro, buy it. If you don't think it's worth it, don't buy it. Like, don't shame somebody for wanting a Switch Pro. I get it. It got annoying hearing about the rumors and stuff, but I still to this day think they should have put out the Pro for a Switch, the new Nintendo Switch, whatever they called it. I still think they should have, but that's just me. Because then if you're going to make this thing last 8 years, then, at least, people like me can, games look good. I ain't going to lie. Games look good enough, but Tears of the Kingdom at 1080p or something, or 60 FPS, I'd been all for that. So the idea of a Pro is fine with me, but this could be it. This could be the last Pro. I'm confident in thinking it's not going to sell well. It's going to be sitting on store shelves, and they're going to have to drop the price, and that's when I'm going to buy it. It's going to be $100 probably at first. Maybe they'll try 50, but then it's going to be 100. And without the disk drive, I'm probably going to wait till it's 550, like if it ever gets to that point. So that's my take on it. So summarize for those that have joined late. I think they did exactly what it should do as far as the performance improvements. I don't think it should have been any more, and it shouldn't have been any less. I think they absolutely nailed the performance benefit. It's right where it should be. It's right what I wanted. And if they had done that at a good price, I would have said it was a huge win, like actually a win. But it isn't. The win is all the people standing up to this, calling Sony out. And then for those people that are like, oh, you guys shouldn't be so negative and celebrate failures and always criticize. I hate that mentality. Yeah, it's annoying if somebody's always complaining like at work about the same shit. But if a company's like Ubisoft, apparently Star Wars Outlaws is not doing well and the stocks have dropped and the shareholders are not happy. Quit doing like generic games. I mean, I liked Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora. For $30, I liked it. For $35, I think I paid. Star Wars Outlaws, I don't even think it's going to be enjoyable at $35. But quit putting out these uninspired games, especially Star Wars, where it's all basically like you don't have to think. The game is so simple and it's just designed that you just kind of can just anybody could pick it up and play it, yeah, the Switch 2 videos after the Switch 2 launches. The Switch 2 Pro videos, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It depends on the system. That's the other thing. I don't know what Nintendo can do. I saw T brought his OLED Steam Deck over when he was here for a couple days. I only played it for like 20 minutes. The thing's huge. It's just massive. And I mean, he needed to do an update, he said, but the loading times are ridiculously long. It was fairly comfortable and stuff, but in God of War, it was God of War. It wasn't like a game that was like more optimized for the Steam Deck, but it was like 10 frames per second. He said after it needed an update, the system update. I'm sure, but still, it's not hitting 60 FPS. It's probably not hitting 30. So I just don't know what Nintendo can do for under $500. Honestly, I don't know what Switch 2 is going to be. That's the thing. The argument I said I'll listen to is from PC guys. Just to double your performance on a GPU or your PC, you're spending $600 on a GPU just to try to double your performance. If you're lucky, you'll double. It might be 30% better performance for $600. Unless you have a 4090, which is $1,600 up to like $1,800, depending on the one you get. Even that is being pushed with like Black Myth Wukong and Avatar. Like, GPUs are super expensive. There's like, it's just ridiculous. In 2013, a mid-tier GPU, like a pretty decent GPU, was $200. In 2019, 2020, a mid-level GPU was $400 to $500, and that's still around that $400 to $600 range. That's the reality of it. It sucks. My CPU was a 16 core. It was a 5950X. It was $350. It launched at like $500 or $600 2 years ago. So yeah, the stuff comes down, and it's not like the PS5 Pro has a great CPU in it, and the GPU is not like state of the art. But if you really want to break it down, the performance to the price, it's still pretty decent value. Not as good as the PS5 and the Series X value, but another thing, like just talking about technologies, in 2016, I bought a 1080p projector for my theater room, and a mid-tier projector was around $2,000, $2,000 to $3,000. That was the price of a mid-tier projector. In 2020, The mid-tier projectors were $5,000 to $7,000. So it sucks. Things have gone up. Um, Switch 2, I'd be shocked if Nintendo has that anywhere under $400. Like, to me, it's $400 to $500. There's no way it's under $400. I just don't see it. It'd be awesome if they can find a way, but technology's got more expensive. So that's all I'm saying. I guess I'm done. I've been rambling. No one told me what they thought the price. Let's see. I think they should have taken the hit, lowered the price of the PS5 Basic, and sold PS5 Pro for $600. They could have undercut Xbox and Switch 2. That would be aggressive. Like $600 with a disc? No way. Not with 2 terabytes. PS5 Pro seems packed with so much more promise. I just don't think the average gamer actually needs it. I mean, no one needs it. Did I need the Switch OLED? Well, kind of, because it made me want to play in portable mode, but no one needed it. Did we need a Switch Lite? No. Did you need the new revision of the Switch? No. It gave you better battery life, though. Obviously, the price didn't go up. The OLED it did, but, you know. Did you need a new Nintendo 3DS? No, but I know a lot of people bought it. You know, no one needed it. So this idea about not needing it as a reason for it not existing is just stupid to me. Do you need a new iPhone? No. I upgrade my phone every 4 years. So I see people doing it every 2 years, 3 years, 1 year. You don't need to. PS5 Pro is a waste business. I can't speak to Sony's business wise. You'd have to know the PS4 Pro had to have been successful, otherwise they wouldn't have did a PS5 Pro. I don't understand. Like, it makes sense to revitalize sales. It just, the pricing doesn't make sense. It's just, like I said, if they couldn't hit $600, they shouldn't have done it. Like, period. End of story. Or $650, they shouldn't have done it with the disc drive. I mean, business wise, like I said, I don't know how many they need to sell for it to be worth it for them. None of that stuff. So I can't really speak to that. As far as like the argument about, well, they don't have any games, what do they got this hardware for? I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, as in Sony as a developer hasn't put out a ton of games, but like I said, this year's been a pretty good year for me as since I've had my PS4 since 2017. I'm happy with 2 to 4 like exclusive games for the system, whether it's Sony or somebody else. That's a good year in my opinion, for Sony or Xbox. Nintendo expect a little bit more because they don't have all the third-party games, but if you can give me 2 games that are only on PS5 a year that I need to play, so like maybe 3 or 4 total, but 2 of which I really want, I'm fine with that, because then I play all the other third-party games and in between. I don't need 10 new games from Sony a year. I don't need that. And I don't want it, to be honest. Now, that was a high number. Let's say realistically, 4 to 5. Do I need 4 to 5 Sony developed games per year? No. I'd be happy with 2 to 3 as long as 2 of them are something I want to play. You know? Like in 2022, was it? Got Gran Turismo 7, Horizon, and God of War. Like, to me, that's a good year. As a PlayStation 4 and beyond Sony fan, I hated PS3. That's a good year for me. I don't need a ton of games. More variety, I guess. It helps get more coverage for more different types of gamers. But just for me personally, like, I only need 1 game really to justify a purchase too. Like, Returnal was enough for me to justify the PS5 purchase, because it also plays PS4 games flawlessly. Like, if it didn't, then yeah, that's not worth it. I think it keeps them from separating See, that's the thing. That's why I think it's exactly the right amount of power upgrade. this isn't blurring the lines between PS5 and PS6 like the PS4 Pro was. The PS4 Pro was enough of a leap over the PS4 with the 4K upscaling and stuff. It looks in the HDR. They had the HDR on the original PS4, but to me, fidelity mode at 60 FPS at 4 years in, with like 3-4 years before the next system comes out, I don't think it hurts the PS6. Possibly, I mean, that extra little bit, but unless somebody makes their game in the PS5 Pro version and they take the 30 FPS mode and it's so much visually like more impressive at 30 FPS than the base PS5, then yeah, you might say, yeah, this is kind of starting to overlap into the PS6 type of stuff. But whatever. Like I said, if you don't think I don't think they needed the PS5 Pro. I'm not mad that they did it though. I just think the price is stupid and it's gonna fail. But I'm not mad at that they did it. But I wouldn't have been mad if they didn't do it. So I'm kind of indifferent on, not to sound like Rob of Rule of Two and not take a side, but honestly, I'm fine with it. I'm fine without it. If you're gonna do it though, it's got to be a good price. It's got to be a competitive price, and it just isn't. So other than that, like, you're telling me if Nintendo had the Switch Pro out in like 2019, you think that would have hurt Switch sales? You think that would have affected it at all? Do you think that maybe we'd already be at 160 million? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Would the Switch Pro, whatever they called it, would it have been a big enough leap to be and too expensive to not become the new Switch, like the primary Switch, or would it have been like the OLED is the new primary Switch everybody buys? It's just, that's what were the sales? The ratio was ridiculous in Japan. It was like, I'm just gonna throw out guesses here. I think this OLED Switch, let's say in a week, whatever, it was a game launch or something, it was like 15,000 units in a week. The regular Switch was like 1,000. The Switch Lite was like 800. It was like ridiculous. The OLED was just far and away the dominant Switch. So maybe if the Pro would have been $400 and wouldn't have done that, but and the problem, the other good thing about, like I said earlier, the performance of the Pro is it doesn't create too many problems for developers. Take your base game, you have your fidelity and your performance, and then for the Pro, just have your fidelity run at 60 FPS. Maybe they could still have a 120 FPS mode, or maybe they could have a 30 FPS fidelity mode still, but it's not like they're remaking the game, having to add all these assets and stuff. Whereas if it did start to get towards next gen status, then they're like, oh wait, the Pro version, we can do this that's not possible on the base PS5. Then you'd have kind of the developers would have too many SKUs to work with. Yeah, I mean, plus 100 T5. The law of diminishing returns is really starting to affect console gaming and PC gaming. Even with a 4090, the only real way to like get a significant visual, like generational leap difference, is to have full path tracing on. Like, if you can't have full path tracing, there's not much else they can do to make visuals look better. There just isn't. I'm sorry. It's just, lighting is the future. And even once that gets to the point with path tracing is normal, what else are they going to be able to do? Like, yeah, you're going to get better textures. You're going to have, even more realistic looking environments and stuff. But the next, like, I think the last pillar as far as like a real significant generational leap feel is in the global illumination, which is path tracing, ray tracing, plus whatever people call it. That's the next like true evolution, true leap. If you can get that at 30 to 60 FPS with good, higher resolution, I honestly don't know where you go from there, to be honest. They're likely still taking a loss on the console despite moving the stand and disk drive. It seems to be intended for people who want cutting edge consoles, but that audience is, what is it, something small. Let me make this wider. It's very small. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're fine with this not being huge and just selling a couple million units. I don't know. At that point, it doesn't seem worth it. I get that whole argument, like, hey, this is only for the people. Nah, it didn't have to be. And what it does, I don't think that caters to the cutting edge people. Honestly, it's not like it's going to be doing full, like I said, global illumination, path tracing. It's not going to be doing that. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Digital Foundry, I'm sure they'll be busy doing comparisons. That's the other thing. There's not a lot of games confirmed to like take advantage of it with like an extra update that's going to take advantage of it. So it's a little light on that too. Like there was like a dozen games. So it's like, what new, like if Black Myth Wukong, if they were like, all right, this popular game here, yeah, that 60 FPS mode left a lot to be desired. Here you go. This is the proper version of the game. That could have been a selling point. 120 hertz and ray tracing is definitely more noticeable at this point than just more detail. Yeah, I mean, smoother, higher frame rate, smoother response, realistic lighting. That does so much more. Just look what it did for Doom 2, which I showed on the podcast. Look what it did, Quake, and that makes such a huge difference. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, I've been rambling on a long time, so you got my most viewers right as I'm feeling like I want to get off. I've said everything I could say. I'm not going to apologize for anything I said. I don't think I said anything super controversial. I'm not like this is the end of the industry, but I will say if this thing comes out at 700 US and sells like crazy, it's selling out, and it becomes the dominant PlayStation, I will be disappointed. I'll be disappointed in gamers. Like, a few people buy it, whatever. But if this thing becomes a hit and you're like, oh, this is the message you're sending, we don't need a disc drive, and we're okay with $700 for a digital console that's not that, it's not that significant of a difference, I will be upset about that. That will be like disappointing. So what I want to do is I want to, go to it's not like I get a ton of views, but go to the video, thumbs down the PlayStation official video, leave a comment on their X post, say it's bullshit, say you're not paying it, like do your part. I think we need a hashtag don't buy a PS5 Pro or something. Don't, no go on the PS5 Pro or something. Let's get a bunch of people on board. Let's make something happen. Like, let's let them know that we're not going to stand for this. Like, this is not okay. At this point, Sony can't take another loss. They can't handle another loss. They can't handle it. The Concord just cost them too much money. You get Sony's version of the Wii U for the same price. It's not. It's not a second. It's just a mirror of the screen. I still think that should be 150. I haven't looked at it in a while. I wouldn't mind having it, to be honest. The Portal, the PlayStation Portal, I think for 150. I think it's got a nice screen, decent battery life, comfortable from what people said. It just, the streaming aspect, it was a little weak. So that's it. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching this on the replay. Again, if you don't think this thing deserves to exist, that's fine. I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm fine with it existing. Just think the pricing and the everything was wrong about the reveal. And at this point, I don't think it should exist because it's at the price. That's the lowest they can get. Then it shouldn't have existed. Like that's how I feel. But again, I think the performance aspect of it was great. I think that's what it should have been. That's what it should be. And I honestly, thinking it, breaking it down, it couldn't have been lower than 650 with a disk drive. There's just no scenario where Sony's going to take that big of a loss. And also, I agree there should be more games. They need to figure out what they want to do and get away from the games of service stuff before it's too late. Get back to making good games, but not every game has to be huge. Astrobot's awesome. If you got a PS5, buy the damn thing. If you're watching this and you don't own Astrobot and you have a PS5, then shame on you. Support that game. It's amazing. Robert just 100%ed it. He must have played it for 24 hours straight. Actually, I don't think it's that long of a game, probably 10 hours. And he loved it. He said it's one of the best platformers he's ever played. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.